This is Eagle Owl, and today I will be talking about Jalen Hurts. Is he the face of the NFL? We're going to talk about it. Also, we got to talk about Jordan Mailata. He said the Super Bowl window is back. We back in grind mode. Time to get to it. He's over the Super Bowl. And lastly, Vic Fangio. He picked Zack Baun. But let's get straight into it. All right, man, before we hop straight into it, gotta talk some draft talk. So a guy came in for a top 30 visit, a safety who I really like out of Penn State. He to me is gonna go second round. The earliest, I say latest, third round. That's Kevin Winston Jr. out of Penn State. I mean, he's everything to me that you want in a safety. The size, over 6 feet, about 6'2", like 215, 220, hard tackler, can cover. You could put him in a nickel. You could put him in zone. He's everything you want in a safety. The only reason why, to me, the only reason why he's not going in the first round, he had an injury. So I think he partially tore his ACL. And that's scary to hear, especially as an Eagles fan, because we know the Sidney Jones story, really good in college, but the injury, it just really never translated to the NFL level. And the Eagles took a big gamble on that. Now, this is a guy I would like to take a gamble on because I know a lot of people probably will view him as a starter now. I view him as he's a guy that could come in, compete with Sidney Brown. I think Sidney Brown could beat him out, but I look at Reed Blankenship contract because I think Reed is going to have a really good year to the point where he might be unaffordable. And now you roll with the Kevin Winston Jr. and the Sidney Brown. You roll with that, and now you got a young, safety core, I should say. They'll be very young, very hungry, and know what to do. So I really like Kevin Winston Jr. And I'm gonna let this guy from TikTok break down his game so you could get a deeper understanding how good this guy is.
Kevin Winston Jr., the best tackling defensive back in this entire draft class. The Penn State safety unfortunately suffered a partially torn ACL in week 2 of the 2024 season, but that doesn't mean that he shouldn't be picked high in this draft class. Winston played a majority of his snaps deep, but did rotate into the slot and into the box occasionally. It's really unfortunate we didn't get a 2024 from him because there's so many more coverage snaps we would have gotten to see. Winston is a guy who plays every snap like it's his last. He brings the energy, brings the thunder. He's not afraid to hit you. He's got pretty good instincts in zone coverage. He also forced a fumble in his only full game of 2024. I think the biggest question mark for Winston is the ball skills because he just didn't get targeted enough in 2023, and not really playing in 2024 isn't going to help his case. He's also the second most athletic safety behind Nicky Minwori, but I think Winston is a much better tackler, way better pursuit angles, and just better instincts in general. PFF must have moved him up to number 29 on their board. I was seeing him in the third round of mock drafts on Twitter. This is a guy that the NFL is going to like.
So he pretty much said what I said. Like, he's everything you want in a safety, but the reason why his stock dropped is because the injury. Now, if he stayed healthy to me the whole season, I think it'll be a strong debate between him and Malachi Starks. But it is what it is. I like Kevin Winston Jr. But it's another guy I like, and I'm hearing rumors that the Eagles might trade up from is Jalen Walker. Unless you've been living under a rock, a lot of the Eagles content creators been talking about him, Jalen Walker. But to me personally, it seemed unrealistic. I've been trying to look at some mocks, see where they got him going. I think the latest I seen him go is like 2021. And even that, dude, the Eagles trade up 11 spots to get a guy, basically an edge rusher guy. I don't know. That's too much. You have to give up too much, in my personal opinion. But you won't be surprised what the Eagles do. But Jalen Walker, he's really good. He kind of reminds me of a more versatile Nolan Smith because you can line him up on the outside, you can line him up in the inside. Jalen Walker, he's one of those ones. I would say I could see why a lot of people project him to go to like the Panthers at 8. He can play ball for sure. So do the Eagles trade up that far? Nah, I just don't see it happening. But He's either going to go really early or in the 20s. And again, I just don't see the Eagles doing that. Now, I could see the Eagles trading out like two, maybe three spots, but 10, 11 spots, unless a team is just don't care and we able to finagle and finesse, sure, but I don't know. I could see us trading up for like a Walter Nolan who might go 28, 29, but Jalen Walker, I just don't see it. I definitely don't see it. All right, so let's get into the main topics. Jalen Hurts being the face of the NFL. So Jalen Hurts, he was on Men's Health magazine. He had an interview, and some of the things wasn't surprising. Him only taking about 3 to 4 days off after the Super Bowl, not surprising. He's back to grind mode. Him getting married, not surprising. That's his, I believe, high school sweetheart. Been with her for years. Jalen Hurts comes off as that guy that's very loyal. So congratulations to them. So that doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that he's motivated to win. That doesn't surprise me. But what surprised me is when he said, "You know what? I am the face of the NFL. I won the Super Bowl MVP." That surprised me because Jalen Hurts usually takes the humble route. It's like maybe I gotta win more to be that guy, which he got that mindset. And he's like, "Look, I'm the Super Bowl MVP, big dog. I'm the face of this. I'm the face of this NFL." I truly believe Jalen Hurts is the face of the NFL. Eagles fan haters, take take it to the heart. I don't care. He's the face. Yeah, Saquon did that. Jalen Hurts is the face. I don't want to hear any of that. Saquon been with Daniel Jones and those guys all those years. Couldn't do nothing. He comes to the Philadelphia Eagles. He does his thing. A.J. Brown, Tennessee. Nobody, people knew A.J. Brown, but the real talk of the town was Derrick Henry. It wasn't A.J. Brown. If you remember that time when A.J. Brown was being traded to the Eagles, remember it was a big market of receivers. I think it was Stephon Diggs, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I know it's D Hop for sure, like Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley. Remember, everybody's like, this is a big wide receiver market, and the Eagles go get A.J. Brown. Remember, that was the talk. A.J. Brown comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, gets 3 straight All Pros. I'm just saying. Miles Sanders got paid. DeAndre Swift got paid. And Saquon Barkley was Offensive Player of the Year. The constant that been here the whole time is Jalen Hurts. So he deserves some credit. And for him to knock off Patrick Mahomes where Lamar Jackson just can't beat him. Joe Burrow can't stay healthy to beat him. Come on. He just owned Josh Allen. He owns him. None of those teams in the AFC, but when he meet Jalen Hurts give him that real matchup. For real, for real. We stumped his head in the last time we seen him. So I'm just saying, man, he deserves to be the face of the league. We're going to break down that interview more as possibly the week go or whatever. Of course, the draft is Thursday, but that's the one that got me like, Jalen Hurts. He's taking that step. Like, I'm that guy. I'm that guy. And there's a clip floating around. I'm going to play it right now of how Jalen Hurts doing everything he can to become a better passer. And let me play this clip.
How do you think he's going to be now that he's got a ring and he's done it and he has completed the mission once? What do you think he looks like having that now as a base of operations for him in Philadelphia?
Well, I can tell you this because he was just on the field last week. When a guy shows up after winning the Super Bowl and he is focused on little details, I'm talking little details to enhance things by fractions of the second. When you take that approach after reaching the pinnacle, that's that like, and I don't want to like say it too soon or anything like that, but I think when I think of like the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, those type guys, that had to be their approach. Like, okay, I got to the summit. I want to do it again, but I'm not going to go as the same player. I'm going to try to do it again as even a better player. And that's the approach that I've seen him take this offseason.
What's an example of what the little things that he's worked on?
A little arm path thing to get the ball out just a titch sooner. You don't need it in all your throws, but if you can have that here or there, and that can be the difference and that may only be like 2 to 3 completions over a 2 to 3 game span. But what if those are on critical third downs in the fourth quarter? What if that's the difference maker? That's where I believe his mindset is at. And so it's cool, it's cool to see that. You would not know standing out on the field that the approach is any different from a season where you might have felt like, man, that didn't go like we want. We need to be pedal to the metal. We need to be doing everything we can. There's not a different approach now that he's won the Super Bowl. It's the same approach.
Dope, man. Super dope. I'm really happy for Jalen Hurts. Well, let's get into another topic. Jordan Mailata. Speaking of Super Bowl and winning, Jordan Mailata is ready to get back to the grind, and let me play this clip.
Preparation and getting ready for the season. How you feeling mentally and physically?
Yeah, I'm already ready. Like, we're all excited to be back. But for myself personally, I don't view it as seeing it as defending champions. Last year was last year. Last season was last season. That's done, right? I think that's part of this, what they call the Super Bowl hangover, is with the pressure of feeling like we have to defend the title. And I was honest with Sirianni. I went up to him a couple of weeks before OTAs, and I told him where I was at. And the fact is like, this is a whole new team. There's whole new faces. We should be dealing with this how we dealt in 23. Move on. The quicker we can move on, the better, because it's a whole new team. It's a new goal. What's the goal this year? Win the championship. That's just it for me. Again, I'll try to keep it as simple as possible, but I've already moved on. I've already moved on. Now, we still got to get that ring ceremony out the way before we can.
Before you officially move on. Yeah.
Listen,
that's like the last chapter in the book. But my approach is, when we lost that one in 22 and 23, the 2023 one, we had to move on right away.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we know how to deal with adversity, how do we deal with success?
Jordan Mailata. I mean, I'm not surprised. He got the Jalen Hurts mentality. Now, he was a 7th round pick, our last pick. And he was a guy we really didn't know of. We like, okay, he got athletic attributes, but what is he? One of the hardest positions to play in football. I say quarterback, left tackle, defensive side, you could say cornerback. Those are the top 3. However we want to mix it up, cool. He made left tackle look easy. That's how good he was. And I remember the first time he started, Jordan, Jason Peters got hurt. And they was like, yeah, we're going to play Jordan Mailata. Everybody like, what? Who is this guy? And this, that, and the third. Nah, we need somebody else. And Jordan Mailata did his thing. Actually, no, it was Andre Dillard, too, that was ahead of him. We got Andre Dillard out the way. Like, Jordan Mailata is the guy. And, yeah, he's been that guy. And he got that mentality like, I want to win. I enjoyed the win. I enjoyed the Super Bowl. But it's time to get another one. I like Jordan Mailata mentality. He keep it up, man. Last but certainly not least, I want to talk about a little bit Fangio. So right after the Super Bowl, how we got straight to business. Like, look, we got 3 strong guys that we want to sign, but we know we can't sign on the defensive side of the ball. Vic Fangio, what do you think? Out of Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and Zack Baun. And you guys know who we all kept. Zack Baun. To me, a couple years ago, I think Milton Williams would be here and Zack Baun and Josh Sweat would be gone. Reason why is because Howie loves the trenches, especially the defensive tackles. But for him to choose a linebacker over the edge and defensive tackle is insane. It's insane, and it shows a different shift in how we mindset. And like you said, this offseason is going to be totally different from any other Eagles offseason. And he kept his word. Yeah, we couldn't get Mekhi Becton back, but you was able to get Zack Baun. That's all we kept saying. Just get Zack Baun. Everything else will work itself out. And so far as the offseason go, I'm starting to like it a little more as I like sit and breathe on it. And it's not even a draft yet. I'm like, okay, we did get Joshua O'Shea. I do believe in Maro Jomo. Azeez Ojulari, that was a really good signing, especially for the price you got him for. So when you really break it down, besides the C.J. Gardner-Johnson trade, and we'll see what Sidney Brown do during the season, that's the one that don't make sense. But signing Zack Baun at the time didn't make sense. So we just got to let these things play out. And again, anything you see on the defense, in my personal opinion, I don't think it's really Howie's moving the money around, but I think it's Vic Fangio calling the shots. So it'd be interesting how that defense work out and who we have starting and what we do in the draft. But that's all I got for you guys today. And hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel? Vic Fangio choosing Zack Baun over Milton Williams and Josh Sweat. Also, Jalen Hurts, is he the face of the NFL? And Jordan Mailata, he wants to win. But this is Eagle Owl, man. I'm out.